and welcome to this episode of Unboxing Women, where we explore the gender gap in the music and entertainment industry. My name is Micah Rose, and with me is my friend Dana Rex, and we are here to reveal what really goes on behind the scenes. You can listen to us on our YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast platform. So, today our topic is one in three? So the third...
This is part 3.
Yeah, it's part 3, but
our
it's
Disney
kind
special.
of consecutive. Yes, our Disney special.
Yes.
So today we are venturing into villains.
I want to say spoiler alert again at the start of this episode, so we don't forget to say that if you still want to watch the Disney movies without knowing what's going to happen, then do that first and then come back and listen to us. So yeah, we had them mapped out in chronological order still.
Yes.
That was very important.
Oh yeah, it really actually was. It's really interesting seeing how they changed over the years.
Yeah, I think the progression in itself is just really important to take into account as, you know, society has changed over the years. So yeah, shall we just dive in?
Yeah.
Okay, so villains. Who is the villain to you in Snow White? This is 1937.
The stepmom.
So watch out, ladies. Once you're, let's say, over 30, you'll be eclipsed by some younger gal, and men will not pay attention to you anymore.
Yeah.
And if men do not pay attention to you, you clearly, well, that's what they say in Snow White. That's kind of what they act out, right? You don't exist anymore. And I think that way of thinking is the cause of women thinking of each other as rivals for male attention, you know, which made us very backstabby in the past, where nowadays we're kind of coming together and coming into our own and lifting each other up instead. So I think, you know, that's a real big transition in the way women look at other women nowadays. And I think it's really good. I prefer it, you know, this way. I prefer being friends with other women and not enemies.
Oh yeah, definitely. I never really understood the kind of stabbing each other in the back thing. It's not a very kind thing to do on any day or to any person. But also just why is it that even before anything has happened, like it got that far that even before anything had happened, like this girl can have done nothing to you and still you'd be bitchy to her because you were like, oh, but she might steal my boyfriend.
Exactly, you know? Yeah. I mean, look at nature, right? So you have a lot of times also like it with cats, for example, lions. So there's the male and he has like a group of females, but the females aren't really fighting against each other to just be the one with the guy. It's the guy protecting like the whole group. And also, you know, it's not really he's deciding who to mate with. It's like he's really doing his best to look good, and then the female will kind of accept him or not, you know? So I don't know where humans get all of a sudden this thing of, oh, you know, we have to be rivals. And I mean, to be honest, I think it is some kind of dare I say, internalized misogyny, you know, that we kind of have
women have to fight for men.
Yeah, and that that they kind of come at us with, oh, you know, it's a cat fight, you know, women against women. And it's maybe something that they enjoy. So they kind of trick us into thinking that we're supposed to act that way. I don't know.
It might be, yeah. Because the thing is, I actually met somebody in a blah blah car, and if you're not from Europe, you're not going to know what this is.
I don't know what that is. Tell me.
Okay, so blah blah car is a company that where you can register yourself as a driver, and basically what you do, it's not like Uber, it's similar, but it's not the same, because basically what you do is you say, look, I'm going from, let's say, from Flensburg to Hamburg tomorrow at so-and-so o'clock. I'm stopping here and here, and I can pick people up on the way, and I can take you with me, and you can book a drive with them. Right?
Okay, so and is this in your own car, or is this like a car that you can rent?
Yeah, it's your own car. It's your own car. Okay. So you can basically earn a little bit of money back by taking people with you, and also kind of help the climate because you're not driving in your car alone.
On the trip that you were already doing. That's actually
on
really
the trip
good.
you're already doing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I took a BlaBlaCar down to see my brother once, and so this is like a 5-hour drive, and the first stop we had was like a McDonald's so that everybody could kind of use the restroom before we went on this long drive. And so both of the girls, so me and her, went to the restroom, and I came out. She was kind of standing there with her phone, and I was just like, oh, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to say hi. I'm Micah, just to we're going to be sitting in a car for the next couple of hours together. So kind of nice to at least know who you are. Yeah. And she just looked at me, and I don't quite remember what she said, but I think it was something like, why the fuck should I care, bitch?
Whoa.
It was super rude. It was so rude and so aggressive. And then like she came, obviously I was like, all right, I just wanted to be friendly, but okay. And then I went away, and then I had to sit in a car with this girl for hours. But basically she clung onto her boyfriend like I was going to do something.
She was really afraid that you would like steal him away.
Yeah.
In like the 10 minutes that you met.
Exactly. Yeah. And in the 0 words that we spoke to each other.
While you're sitting in a car with her there for 5 hours. Yeah. I don't understand where this comes from. So she must have had some kind of fear. I talked to my brother about it. Yeah. I talked to my brother about it. It was, he said, that girls like that usually grew up with guys and didn't have a lot of girlfriends, so they never learnt how to interact with girls and kind of saw other girls as I have to beg to differ, because I also am kind of that girl that, didn't really have a lot of girly girlfriends, but hung with the guys a lot. In my teens, I mean, really from kind of 10 to just growing up, in your teens and in your 20s as well. So, I'm not sure. I don't really think that's true.
No, I get that. I don't think everybody turns out that way. And I had a lot of guy friends as well, but it was a specific atmosphere. I don't quite recall what it was, but I'll have to ask him again. But it was a specific atmosphere that he said girls like that grow up in, where they see every other woman as competition.
Yeah.
And I was so flabbergasted that still existed, that I was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
How old do you think she was at the time?
Early 20s.
Okay. So basically same as you at that moment?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not like she was from another generation. It's a bit weird, yeah. Now there's this whole female revolution, and we're really talking about this stuff and lifting each other up instead of trying to better each other, basically. And I'm not sure where that comes from. I prefer it much better the way it is, but I do remember times being different, and there's another girl, do I look good, check the mirror, am I looking better than her, some kind of this thing. And I don't really know where that is. It an instinct? Where does it come from? Because that's clearly not what's happening in the animal realm, where it's the guy, basically the male, who always has to make sure he looks good and make sure he's the biggest and make sure he impresses the women. So
that's interesting though, because isn't it then kind of, again, the same thing that's happening nowadays with the male gaze? So is it something maybe that men have made us act like
Yeah.
because that's how they act and how they think people should act.
Maybe that's a good one. Maybe it's a male gaze.
Because the girls never have an issue getting a guy. It's always like they have to be wooed, and they're like,
They
I'm
have to be
picky, I can
wooed.
choose whoever I want.
Exactly.
So it's so interesting. Sorry, we just bring that to a close for a second.
Completely digressing from villains in Disney.
Snow White, stepmom, that's where this started, because of the rivalry and stuff.
All stepmoms in stories are evil old women, who are like warty faced and evil and ugly and always, or witches.
So funny because there's a stereotype I grew up with as well. But then again, you also have the stereotype of if you, I don't know if this is a German thing, but if you have a piece of cake, so you get a piece of cake from the cake, you take out the piece and then you put it on your plate, and if it tips over, then you're going to have an evil mother-in-law.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is every time you get cake, or is it like only on birthdays?
Every time you get cake.
That's very disturbing.
Tip over, you're going to have a nice mother-in-law, and if it tips over, you're going to have an evil mother-in-law. So I don't know why it's always the women that are evil. Why is it never the men that are evil? Why isn't it like, it's the evil stepdad?
Exactly.
Because what would that entail? Would that then immediately make him a rapist? Is it just because stuff like that is like meaner and darker? Or like, why? Why is it the women?
Good point.
Yeah.
So yes, moving on to Cinderella, 1950. She's a girl suppressed by her older stepmom. There's definitely a theme in Disney through kind of all the especially the first movies I've seen, that the older ladies are evil as fuck. Never the real mom, always a stepmom, some evil person who has stepped in to claim the father as her own and wrong the daughter. I'm not sure why they're doing this, and there's really no other villains in the story than this stepmother who is keeping Cinderella down, in Cinderella's case. But I mean, let's also talk about the men in this movie. So not like the hero that everybody immediately thinks is the prince, which we disproved, by the way, in part 2, Disney Heroes. So go and listen to that. Yeah, if you want to hear our conclusion. So the king in Cinderella is a little fat, ugly, bald guy who never lets anyone speak to him, like explain anything, not even his own advisors. He just tells everybody what to do, and he understands whatever he wants to understand, not what is actually happening, but what he just kind of wants to happen. So he's like, oh, my son needs to marry, and oh my God, look, this girl would be good. And he's like, and then when things don't go his way, he starts yelling and he starts stabbing people with his sword. So he literally takes his sword and, without even hearing the other person out, starts trying to kill that person. What is that all about? How is that not the villain in this movie?
It's really interesting. That actually, we haven't talked about Peter Pan before, but now that you say about angry dads, in Peter Pan, there's an angry dad. He's
is Peter Pan Disney? I don't remember.
I think it's Disney.
Must be Disney.
I think it is Disney. But anyway, there's an angry dad in there as well.
Really?
Yeah, the dad of Wendy's dad is like, he gets all red face and he like locks the dog outside and gets really angry all the time.
Right. If angry dads. Angry dads.
Angry dads are a thing. Also, Triton in The Little Mermaid gets really angry. I mean, he has a myriad of other problems, but
Yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. He gets angry too. Oh, very angry fathers all the time. So that's a very stereotypical, right? For a father to get like angry. If you're gonna get it
Yeah,
from
to have
someone,
anger management issues.
it's gonna be, yeah, exactly, anger management. Yeah, they don't really listen to what you're saying either, and they mostly get angry because they've like misread the situation and are not like asking for an explanation. They just like
Yeah,
see
or because
something
they
and
have
then they
some, like,
explode.
yeah, or they have some really like archaic values, and then you're like, just let your kids be free for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
So moving on to Sleeping Beauty. The villain here again, an older woman, Maleficent, a witch. So every
Sad
woman,
or angry because she's been left out by other women.
Yeah, every woman above 30 seems to be evil in a Disney movie. In Snow White, Cinderella, and even, okay, Maleficent does look evil in like the original cartoon, but they're not that ugly.
No,
You know?
they're pretty, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah.
They are pretty. They are women who, you know, are
like,
very. They have a great body shape. You know, they're beautiful and fit, and their makeup is well done. Their hair is kept. I mean, I don't really see why those are all bad things.
Is it maybe like a thing that people had with widows? Because widows were like the hot widow, or the good-looking widow, not super old, but sexually promiscuous. So they kind of had to paint her in a bad light because they were scared of women who were happy in their own sexuality.
Maybe, yeah. And at that time, I mean, if we're talking about Cinderella, 1950, this is right after the Second World War. So there were a lot of widows. I don't know. That's a good point. If anybody knows anything about that, please do tell.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Or send us a DM or write us at suchabitch@unboxingwomen.com. Sorry, that's like a little plug.
Professional plugger here. Yeah, we've been getting quite good at that. No, okay, so
The Little Mermaid is next. Oh, sorry, you wanted to say something about...
No, that's fine. So The Little Mermaid, again, Ursula. Ursula is a woman.
Older woman, evil
woman, evil. I'm not sure I would call her very attractive, to be fair.
No, this time they made her ugly. Yeah, this time they made her ugly.
They made her like the sea witch. I think that comes from like sea witches not supposedly being pretty, though.
Yeah, the sea witch. She's an octopus. I mean, a big, ugly purple older woman, basically she is.
Yeah.
So again, an older lady is the bad one here, and she's out to get the young one again and steal her soul.
And she has magic
and become young again. So it's all about, it's always, from Snow White onwards, it's stealing back their youth.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, the goal is to be young again, because being an old woman is such a bad thing in society.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a problem. Yeah. So yeah, it's how older women are seen as just not important anymore. You have to be young and pretty, otherwise you don't matter. That's what they're saying.
Yes, completely agree. To be fair though, Ursula really just wanted power over the whole world. So, you know, with the trident and the 7 seas and stuff, that's what she really wanted.
Yeah, that's true. That's what she really wanted. Yeah.
That was her ultimate goal.
That's true. But I mean, with all that power, was she, you know, did she just want the power, or was she going to make herself look younger as well? I'm not sure.
We don't know.
We never got that far.
No.
What I thought about Ursula was that she looked like Cruella.
Yeah.
Cruella from the Dalmatians. Again, an older woman who is the villain, but who also, you know, she's supposed to be super rich. And so, you know, she has the special hair, but still it looks quite good. And she has her makeup and her nice clothes. And so again, this is a woman who is, you know, she's keeping up the upkeep, shall I say. And it's again portrayed as a bad thing. Okay, she's gonna kill the dogs.
Yeah, she's gonna kill the dogs, but yeah,
you know, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Wearing the right T-shirt for this one.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Anyway.
Tell us what's on it for our listeners.
Oh, it says vegan is the new black.
Oh,
I don't know if that's actually it. Well, you can see vegan if I hold it up.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's just the proper T-shirt for this occasion. Killing puppies and skinning them.
Yes. So what does Disney have against older women? I ask. You know, is it?
I don't know. I think the beginning, to be fair, came from the Grimm novels. Because the original Grimm stories, I'm pretty sure, had older women in them.
Oh, well, let me rephrase. What do the Grimm brothers have against older women?
That's a good question. Yeah,
it's really strange. So we are on to Beauty and the Beast, 91.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the villain here? Is it Gaston, who is such a dick? But is he really the villain?
I'd say it's really difficult because I'd say it is Gaston, but it's also the witch that turned the beast into a monster, but then it's also the beast. So it's kind of like...
Yes! That's true. Not even 2 minutes into the movie, there's already an old, ugly lady.
Yeah.
And yes, I even wrote this down. Wait. It says, and the prince, literally it says, air quotes, was repulsed by her haggard appearance. And then she turns into a pretty woman and he begs for forgiveness. But she has to bewitch him because he wasn't nice. So again, the message is beware of women. Also, obviously, you should be nice to everybody. Also, the old haggard one, you know. But it's still making
because
women
they might
villain.
be a witch. But this is the thing:
because
it's not
they might be a witch.
To older women because it's just polite to be nice in general. It's be nice to older women because they might be a witch,
or there might be consequences. Exactly. So you only be nice if because you're afraid of them. Basically, I'm not sure I like this narrative of why are we so evil, especially when we get older.
I mean, to be fair, the fairy godmother in Cinderella was old, but
there I do have a remark to make because she looked like a nice little old like grandma, a little bit,
true.
on the pudgy side, and like with her gray, like curly hair, just like cut short, but like the grandma style. So they make her look like nice and cute, while the other women who are, the stepmom is basically the same age as the fairy godmother. I mean, let's be honest. And she's tall and she has a nice clothes and therefore she's evil. And the other one.
Yeah, and she has nice cheekbones. And,
yes.
Yeah.
And so you have to make the nice old lady, you have to make look like a little grandma, basically. Tiny with big boobs and that's
clumsy
a little bit. She has all this magic and the only thing she does is basically do the pumpkin thing instead of like saving the bloody girl and getting her out of the house for good. No, she just sends her off to a party for one night. Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah, it's pretty shit.
It's pretty shit. It's not the solution that we were hoping for.
Yeah, no, but in Beauty and the Beast, I feel like the Beast is partly the villain.
In the beginning, he is, yeah.
Yeah. But then it turns into Gaston being, if you can call him a villain. I think at the end he does get quite evil, but he's just stupid. He's just incredibly dense and so self-absorbed that it's like he's not trying to be evil. He's just...
It just dawned on me that this movie is all about don't judge a book by its cover. She's into books. Belle loves books. And the monster, everybody's judging him because he looks bad. He looks like a monster, so he must be a monster. And then Gaston, he looks so pretty, supposedly. So he must be, he must be the one you have to run after and that you want to marry. But he's actually the dick.
I don't think there's one specific one. I do think it is something to point out that Gaston is the one who has a sidekick, and most Disney villains have a sidekick.
Right. Who's also like a short, ugly little man, by the way.
And his sidekick is very strange.
What always surprises me is how when, for example, the sisters in Cinderella, they're supposedly ugly. While, I don't really think they could have made them more ugly in the movie and really ugly, but they're not that ugly to me. Anyway, all the men who are like the advisors of kings or like doing the bidding of the kings, like even the 7 dwarves, all these, they're tiny, ugly little men running around all the time. And when the sisters in Cinderella walk by, everybody's repulsed. And then when all these like ugly, lesser men walk by, nobody's like, oh, I can't look at that, They're all just accepted and normal. What is that all about? Why do we always have to be so fucking pretty all the time?
Because apparently that's all we're worth.
That's what we do. We're supposed to be pretty. It's not fair.
Well, no, it's not. Then again, Belle is ridiculed because she is smart and she wants to be smart and doesn't want Gaston. So then there again, it reinforces kind of the stereotype of, oh my God, why wouldn't you want him though? But he's so good looking, and what the fuck is wrong with you that you won't take this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And then she's obviously validated, even though she never wants to marry, but at the end of the movie she marries the prince. So everybody's like, oh my God, yes, of course, now she has the perfect guy, even better than Gaston. So they also kind of just see it as, oh, she knew something we didn't, right? And she, on the other hand, was like, well, I didn't actually want to marry anybody, but now here I am.
Now that I'm in love, I will.
I don't know. It's really weird because it doesn't just say, oh, you don't have to marry no matter what happens. It just says, oh, she didn't marry and she was strange, but she then got like the best deal ever.
If we're moving on to Aladdin, 92, this is the first movie, I feel, where the villain is identifiable as a man for the first time, Oh, sorry, yes. Can we just shortly say Gaston seemed so gay? Oh, yeah.
Apart from him being like, I have so much testosterone, look at me.
Yes, exactly.
He was just
very camp,
he was very
though.
Self-absorbed.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, so continue. Aladdin.
Yes, Aladdin. Identifiable as a man, also a little camp.
Oh, Jafar. Jafar is obviously the villain this time.
Yes, he's very obviously the villain. But he's not like, he's very thin and very tall and he talks in a very nice manner. He's not like a manly man, like raw, whatever. Raw. That's what men do. Oh, I also want to actually talk about his parrot. So everybody in this movie has a sidekick. You have Aladdin with his monkey. You have Jasmine with her tiger. And then you have the Jafar with the parrot. Why is the parrot from Brooklyn? Everybody's speaking like proper, like nice English, not too much of a dialect, except Jafar is like UK English. And then there's this parrot. The comic relief is the genie, although that the genie is, he wasn't the hero, but he's kind of this, I don't know, not the sidekick because that's a monkey. What is
the hero? The genie is not the hero. He's the magical entity.
Oh,
like like the fairy godmother.
Entity.
The
thing is, normally magical entities come in once for a very short while, and the genie is there the whole time, basically.
Yeah.
And also pretty.
He's also comedic relief.
Yes,
I mean, it's Robin Williams.
Yes, which is very good. He does that very well. I'd actually love to see footage of him doing the voiceover
A
thing.
voice
I think
acting,
that
yeah,
would be
yeah.
amazing.
Probably.
So yes, this is the first time we have an identifiable villain as really who identifies as a man.
But he looks a little bit feminine, though, doesn't he?
Well, yeah,
Sorry.
like I
He
said, he's
does.
like tall and he's also very kept and calm and cool, and he's got everything figured out. Those are not bad traits to me, but they make it bad because he's like, oh, he's planned this all along. He manipulates.
Oh yeah,
That's the thing.
he's the advisor to the king, or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot the word. Sultan.
The Sultan. Oh yes,
yeah.
it's good that you say
the
that.
Sultan is also
He's like a little short
fat guy.
Yeah,
little short fat guy who gets angry.
Who gets angry? Again,
Yeah.
a father who's very angry. What is it about these guys? And so he gets manipulated and hypnotized basically by Jafar.
Well, I mean, we have a definite villain.
Yes.
I think he is very intelligent. He's very shrewd. I think the villains before then also were very intelligent. They were also kind of sly, did things around the back way. And he's very well kept, so he's very well groomed. He has a specific style. He's again tall and thin and haggard. And
he's not haggard.
He's a little bit haggard. Well, really? That might be personal preference, though.
Yes.
But so basically, they're all tall, thin, and evil.
Let us move on to Pocahontas in 1995. The villain.
Fat rich guy.
Yes. And he's very camp again.
Yes.
So this is what we really wanted to get to, where we discuss how in the past villains have been portrayed as very camp, possibly gay. And so they're villains, right? So we're supposed to hate gay people. That's the... It's not
That's
like the
underlying
literal
message,
but it kind of gives you this. Oh, you have to watch out for these guys because they're not being themselves. They're not being who they really are. They're hiding something.
A lot of the times, villains in Disney movies are also kind of double crossers. So you kind of link being camp with people who will double cross you. Consider in Pocahontas, if they had made that guy just a villain who was a man who had all the power, not camp at all, it would have been really scary. It would have been super, super scary. And I don't know if they thought that was too close to a reality. And that they didn't want to portray men that way. So they decided to portray everybody else in a bad light, except for men.
Yeah, maybe. What would the movie look like if the villain was a normal guy? Like a hetero, normal guy, maybe a little bit stereotypical towards the male side, so strong. Yes, good with guns, like instead of like trying to and not actually just shooting trees instead of people, but like really a good marksman and everything. It's true. It would be scary. It would be very scary.
Yeah,
you're right.
It would be super scary. In this way, they can kind of make fun of him and make it lighter. In Hercules, Hades is the evil doer, which, I mean, obviously he's Hades.
Yes.
And he is... I don't think he's really camp. He doesn't really come across as camp. He does have a dramatic flair.
Yes.
He has anger problems. And he's very kind of suave and sarcastic. And he's a joker, you know. So he is not as scary as he should be, because
yes, he could have been scarier.
He could have been so much scarier, but he's not, because he's just always sarcastic.
May I add that he has 3 old women cronies who kill people. So they have like the thread and the thread of
they're
life.
the crones. They're not his cronies, though.
Oh, they're the crones.
Yeah.
Yes, but so 3 old women who are evil witches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And he flirts with them.
Yeah, he kind of makes them feel all important and like flirty for them to be loyal to him.
To help him. Yeah. I don't know. He also has those 2 sidekicks who are who basically mess everything up. So it's kind of like it's not
Comic
him
relief.
messing things up. It's his sidekicks messing things up. So I don't know about Hades. I think he's a pretty good villain, but I feel like somebody who would want a job to be done should do it properly, like one that is so important. He should do it himself.
Yes, they never do it themselves, do they? They send like, those two funny,
like the huntsman and and stuff like that, just sending people out instead of doing it themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And what you do yourself, you do better.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, let us know if you think Hades is camp, because I didn't get that feeling off of him. But yeah, it's
I think could be debated on, but I didn't really see him as that camp either. But yeah, he has a theatrical side to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's also tall and his face is like really long and skinny. So there's the long and skinny kind of aspect. I think he's a little bit more muscular than the usual kind of villains. But he is obviously the villain. So again, a very clear villain in that story.
Mm-hmm. Now we're getting to Mulan, where the villain is it the Hun? Attila the Hun?
I think it is the Hun, but it's also
Mulan herself is the
no,
I don't know.
No. I think it is the Hun, but there's also this tall, skinny guy in the army who is like the guy with the notebook and being like checking everything.
Oh yeah, the advisor of the
that
emperor.
Guy is so annoying.
He's not nice.
And also slightly evil.
Yes, he's not nice.
And he is definitely made fun of for like to be seen as gay. Like he is definitely camp.
Yeah. And if that is indeed, villain number 1 and then villain number 2 is Attila the Hun, that is a manly man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's scary.
Yeah,
though.
he's
scary.
Very scary and kind of unstoppable. And he also
he doesn't really talk a lot, does he?
No, I was waiting for the Attila the Hun and his bunch to have like a song, but they don't have a song.
No, because they're not that important.
But that would make them not as scary, because then you would see, they would be like dancing and singing, and that's not scary. So they didn't give them a song. They could have, but
I don't think they humanized them really.
No, because they're all gray as well.
Yeah, they didn't humanize them. They
But that is like a very scary manly man villain. Yeah. Toxic masculinity is galore with Attila the Hun in Mulan, I think.
Yes, but is it actually like, because when I think about Mulan, I really don't think about him that much.
No, because it's about her.
It's not the story. And even though he's the villain, so much else happens, and the actual kind of antagonist the antagonists in Mulan are really that advisor guy, and the tension between her and General Chang, is it?
Well, not exactly even the general, even her fellow soldiers at the start, where everybody's against her when they still think she's a he, and because she gets them all into trouble by kind of fighting them and trying to be a man. So she's not very liked by anyone at the start, really, and they do tease her and yeah.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. In Princess and the Frog, we're now in 2009. We have also a male villain identifying as a man again. So the voodoo person.
Yeah, the voodoo man.
The voodoo man who's in it. Yeah, he's pretty evil as well. Also,
I just put
thin.
down as a note, definitely camp.
Definitely camp. And thin again, and also
tall
well
and
kept.
thin, and yeah.
So it's a recurring theme. It's a recurring theme that villains are tricky. I guess tricky.
Well, they're deceptive, aren't they?
Deceptive.
So
that's the word.
they're deceptive. They lead you behind the light. I don't know if that's a phrase in English. It's a phrase in German, kind of to deceive. You lead someone behind the light because then you're in the shadows and you can't see what's happening. You know what I mean?
Ah, yes.
So it's kind of like it's very very trickstery, but not in the fun sense, but kind of like in the evil, low-key sense.
Yeah, never divulging their agenda, really. They always have like an ulterior motive that they're using you for to get at. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, like Ursula. Ulterior motive is just is getting the kingdom, not really the voice, like you were saying. Exactly. Yeah. And in Brave, who is the villain? Because in a big part of the movie, it's Merida against her mom. Older lady alert.
I don't
But she's
know.
Nice. I mean, I still like her, even though she's annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a classical villain in Merida. I think some of the guys and that come in to kind of compete for her hand are kind of villain worthy.
I think they're comic relief more.
Yeah.
They're very funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I watched it. I guess the bear, the guy who turned into a bear is probably like a big villain. But he's not like he's a side character.
He is a side character. It's between her and her mom.
To the plot.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's a definite villain in this one in the classic sense. It's more about the story. There is a witch though, and she's old and ugly and warty. Oh
yeah, there's a witch in Tiana as well. So Princess and the Frog. There's a witch there who is old and ugly
also
and small and fat and Grand Mari.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
Yep, again, yeah. So women with magic.
Old and decrepit.
You would think with their magic that they would like do something. Well, yeah, Ursula tried, but so there were a couple that we kind of had missed in like the first episode where we talked about the princesses, which is Frozen. So there's Anna and Elsa. There's not really a villain. Well, Elsa is the villain.
Hans.
What? Who is that?
Hans is the villain. The guy who tries to take over the fucking kingdom.
Yeah, but he's not in it the whole time. The villain is Elsa, really. She's fighting against herself, and she makes this big snow monster.
She's not the villain, though. She's not the villain, though.
No, not really the villain. But I mean, Hans he only has like a little part.
Yes, but he's the most evil. He's one of the most evil people I've seen in a Disney movie.
Really? I have to watch that again then.
So he came to the kingdom specifically to marry Elsa.
To marry again. To
marry Elsa, not Anna.
No,
marry Elsa. But once he realized he couldn't get Elsa and he could get Anna really easily, he was like, all right, so now we need to get rid of Elsa. And then she got rid of herself. So he was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then like he was, and I've been put in charge of the kingdom and blah, 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 and here and there. And then when Anna comes back and needs his help, he doesn't, like, it's not just he doesn't help her. He literally is there, pretends he's going to help her, goes in for the kiss and then destroys Anna by saying, "But who would love you?" and goes out and then tries to take over the kingdom. Like, that is so intrinsically evil. Like, yes, it's planned, but it's also like you have to be a really bad person to be able to do that.
That's true. Yeah.
Like,
so
that was
dare we say he's
so
more
scary.
realistic?
Yeah, I think he's more realistic.
And what about Moana? There is like an evil force in Moana, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen it in a while.
The evil force in Moana is what used to be the positive force, and it got taken away by. So the missing thing, this little piece that they put. Sorry, I'm going to spoil this for you, though.
But I've seen it.
Or do you want to watch it?
No,
you've seen it? Okay.
I've seen it. It's just a long time ago.
So it's you've got this little pebble,
right?
And,
the pebble,
but and it was taken away from the goddess, which turned her into the evil force.
Is the evil force male or female?
Female, but you don't see it. You don't know that it's female.
Okay, because to me, when the island turns into a volcano. It looks male.
It does,
but
yeah.
It's not sure. We're not sure. It's just like, it's just a force.
Yeah. So it's a force, and then you're not really sure what it is. It could be male, it could be female, and then like you find out it's actually the goddess, and she's just hurt and needs to heal. Okay. So yeah. It's really interesting. It has changed a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Like, villains have changed a lot.
I don't know what it is in Encanto, because that's pretty new and we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
So we do know that the hero is a girl. Well, it's supposed to be like the princess is a girl, obviously, but she's her own hero, some kind of way. And then we're not sure who the villain is. So please, if you've seen it, do comment. It would be a spoiler for us, but that's okay. Who the villain is in Encanto? Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is the villain non-binary or some kind of force?
Is there even a villain?
Is there a villain? Is he camp or not? Are we back to that? Please do tell us.
Yeah, no, so it's really interesting. So we started out with stepmoms, evil stepmoms.
Yeah.
Went over into kind of camp villains, and then we went over into more realistic and more kind of interpersonal conflicts instead of there being this one big evil force.
Exactly, yeah, interpersonal. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I'm not sure if a movie like that really needs a villain, I mean, there's always something bad that happens, but it could be a situation and not always, it doesn't always have to be like an evil person.
Yeah, I think that's what we're moving towards, to be honest. I think that's kind of like, yes, there's probably still going to be antagonists and people that you can't kind of work with that are very difficult and maybe throw some stepping stones in your way. But I think that it is now more obvious that it's going towards showcasing more lifelike problems and moving towards lifelike stuff and moving away from fairy tales. So it's kind of beforehand, it was more symbolic. So you had the symbolism of the evil stepmother. You had the symbolism of the princess and the hero and stuff like this. You had all these kind of things being very symbolic. And now it's more going into, this is actually lifelike, this is real, so this is something that happens. These are kind of contentious points in relationships that we know about and that we need to talk about and discuss and show people that there are other ways of dealing with these things.
Yeah, it's not like one thing, like avoid the poison apple or avoid the needle of the spinning wheel, or, it's like
or avoid old people.
Yes, it's like not one thing that you can pinpoint, like, we need to see that we stay away from this thing. It's more a situation where, you're involved either way, and you have to like solve it.
It's more about morals.
Yes, and people relations,
Yeah. That's really interesting that we got that out of discussing the villains and not out of any of the other episodes that we've done about Disney so far.
Well, there's always conflict, right? And I think the villain is usually the one that is providing at the start of the movie the conflict. For Aladdin, for example, it's very clear, and for the Little Mermaid, there's conflict that's created by this evil person who's trying to manipulate people, and then you get all this stuff happening. Whereas nowadays it's more, the problem involves more people. It's not really. It doesn't come to life just because one person does something.
Yeah.
It's a nice conclusion, I think. I don't think we expected that.
No, not at all.
So that's all for today. Thank you for tuning in to Unboxing Women. And if you've ever had an experience that you want to share with us, send us a DM or tag us in your post with the hashtag #SuchABitch. There you go. I put the banner up. Now, you can also send us an email on suchabitch@unboxingwomen.com. Don't forget to drop us a like on Instagram or wherever you're listening to us. My name is Dana Rex, and I've been chatting with Micah Rose. Tune in to another episode of Unboxing Women next week. See you then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.